unsurpassed, profound and wonderful Dharma is difficult to encounter in hundreds of millions of aeons. I now see and hear it, receive and uphold it, and I vow to fathom the Tathagata's true meaning.
Okay, good morning everybody. Today we are going into something very, very practical. There are altogether 5 skills under the 5 PAT. And these 5 skills are all the Bodhisattvas skills, whereby even the Maha Bodhisattvas are using them. Again, this is really for householders. You can apply all these 5 skills in the daily life. However, they are exactly like our Eightfold Path. It's just that we do it in the daily life, right? So maybe we can go in step by step, but today we are supposed to introduce the last 2 skills that we are not familiar with. We already understood what is step back reposition, tearing, and Agni 3 and 5. So today I will elaborate more on vow and motto. Okay? But before I go into vow and motto, let's do a revision of all the steps so that we can see everything in totality. Okay? Okay, number 1, the most fundamental and the foundation of all skills, stepping back and repositioning. We call Chao San. So this skill is the most important skill of all. Without this foundation, we cannot even start the path. We have to step back and reposition. You can use awareness, but stepping back and repositioning is slightly more dynamic, right? It is like a protection shield to many of us. You know why we suffer? Because we are always bound by the 4 negative emotions. Our fear, anger, guilt, and sadness, right? So why are these emotions so easily attacking us? Because we are very, very much easily delved into a lot of stories. When things happen around us, especially for householders, there's so many challenges out there. Our usual habit is that we will hop into the story and start to react and then bear it into our emotions. So that's why we feel very trapped and a lot of suffering. So stepping back and reposition is to pull ourselves out from these stories, and at least we are having slight awakening inside an event. At least with this, my emotion is not so intensive. And because of this, I reduce my suffering. So a lot of times, stepping back and repositioning is a protection shield to many of us. And in fact, many came back having very positive feedback. However, now the important thing is the persistence. You have to persist with this skill. Once it becomes a habit, you can really reduce the suffering very much in life. And in fact, for a bodhisattva, their stepping back and repositioning is like 95% to 100%. For people like us, maybe 10, 15%, but at least we are doing something that the bodhisattvas are doing. Okay? So once you reach about 100%, we call this the Surangama Great Samadhi. So Leng Yan Ta Ting. Okay? So this one is all the Maha Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas are like that. You ask them to drill into our story, they need to use effort. Because for them, they are always at the higher consciousness looking at all the stories. Okay, so this is stepping back and repositioning, looking at our 4 negative emotions first. Usually this area, we are under tolerance, whereby we are being oppressed with negative emotions because of suffering. That's why we quickly step back and reposition and protect ourselves. Here, we need to tolerate. Okay? So, and once we identify emotions like the 4 negative emotions, we will move on to the second skill, tearing. Stepping back and reposition is very much the right mindfulness for under Eightfold Path, right mindfulness. Whereas tearing is actually right thought. Okay? Tearing is a skill whereby we are very good in separating issue and emotion. When something happens, I've got emotion arise. Once I see the emotion, because I step back and reposition, I would dissect it into emotion and issue. Okay? It is a very wrong perception that issues and emotions are always integrated. Actually, that's not true. They are actually two separate things. Issues basically are very simple. They are quite easy to handle if we do not have emotions. Issue becomes very complicated because there are so much of emotion attached inside that happening. Under issues, there are few rules you can apply. Mainly denotes under this. Remember last 2 years, the class about 3 rules of acceptance, middle way. We look for the middle way. How do we think about karma? How karma affect us? All these are found in this are under issue. But on emotions, we have to settle emotion first before we settle issue. Because once the emotion is taken away, actually the issue is very easy. It's very direct. 1 + 1 = 2, that's all. 3 + 2 = 5, that's all. But because of the emotion, so we are very entangled. Say for example, one day I got back home. I tried very hard, rushed back home, bought everything and cooked dinner for family. So I did so much, sacrificed so much and worked so hard. By the time I served the food, my son said this: "My cooking is tasteless." So I am so disappointed. So what do I see? Anger. Angry. Buy for you, cook for you, someone want to complain and criticize me, okay? So anger comes up. Okay, that's very common. Okay, so this one we have to tear. The issue is basically cooking is tasteless. However, with this anger, when the son said this, his criticism actually shot my ego. It was not directly to me. It was directly to my ego first. It was my ego that was hurt, that tells me he's not respecting me. He's criticizing me. So I got angry with him. Okay, very importantly, this ego thing is actually the real culprit that hurt me, not my son. My son is just saying something. He is an instigator, no doubt. He is saying what he thinks. All right? But how come I'm so reactive? Because of my ego. And this ego, very complicated. Behind, there's so much of inferiority complex and insecurity due to my past memory, my past hurt. So once my past hurt, I captured whatever when I was young, I was being bullied and not being respected. I felt very, very small. So this thing become a concept inside me. I hold this perception, you guys cannot bully me. You guys cannot criticize me. Okay? So this become my belief and forms my ego. Remember this balloon? This guy? Actually, all perceptions when you gather together, it becomes a you. The I is actually fictitious one. No such I. The I is actually formed by all perceptions of that person. Okay? So, because of past hurt, I was affected. Not because of my son. Especially if you are walking on this path, all these people, all these instigators, overnight becomes your teacher. Because they are the one who let us see who we actually are. Okay? So this is the power of tearing. So the moment we tear and we saw this, we quickly address the ego first. Not my son. Okay? If I've addressed my ego, this is a recovered person. Okay? So what I do is that I just reply normally. Oh, food not nice. Is it? Come, let me taste. I find okay what? Then I ask other sons, or my husband, or my daughter, how is it? Then the rest say, Okay, that means something is wrong with him lah. So, okay, that's all. If the others also say, yeah lah, tasteless lah. Oh, is it lah? Okay, I know what to do next time. That's all. That's why if no emotion, very direct one, improvise on it. It was all the emotion make me blade face all black. Wow, eat that time, no sound, no conversation. Why? Not happy already. And that one can last few days or for some people. So this is actually the tearing technique. Okay? Basically, tearing is very important. Not only cooking, What about if in office, politics, or maybe I do business when my client run away with a big sum of my money? Running away with a big sum of money is an issue, but the depression that I go through is my emotion. So it can be weighing from very small things to very, very terrible happening in life. We still need to tear. Issues are mere issues. Emotion is the one that kills us. Nothing so great that cannot solve one. It's only that we cannot let go because of the emotion. So this one is a very important skill. Okay? So once we tear the issue and the emotion, when we can handle without any ego, so what we do is that we not move. Not moving is one of the criteria for Buddha nature. Putong. You're just not affected. Okay? However, if we are very affected, like the first diagram, so because of ego, we have a lot of aversion. Aversion of people criticizing me, saying I'm low, wrong, bad, or whatever, no good. So we averse to all the negative side. This one is under tolerance. On the other hand, we come to the other side of the story, which is 4 positive emotions. Remember what we shared previous class? The 4 positive emotions are recognition, satisfaction, loving attachment, and excitement. Okay? So these emotions so-called positive emotions are basically trappings of life. When we are attached to all these 4 positive emotions, we are stepping into the starting of the whole entire loop. Why? Because they are the mother of our 4 negative emotions. Because usually we chase after these 4 positive emotions when our life is much better. We are not under oppression. When we are successful, we have a lot of law of affordance, we have money, we have status, we have health, we will go after satisfaction, recognition, all the loving attachment and excitement. Or we create all these things. Why? Because we do not know how to be 快乐, we only know how to create 高兴. Okay? So all these emotional traps are actually the one that trap us and make us attached to them. So in order to get out of this emotion, using diligence, we have to go back into all these positive emotions and start to detach by stepping back and repositioning inside the emotion. Once we can step back and reposition inside the emotion, attachment drop by 50%. And ask few more questions. What are the price behind? For all this loving attachment, all this recognition, all this excitement. There are so much price to pay for, no? In order to maintain them, in order to hold on to them. And all this price to pay off is no joke, and it can drain my whole life resources just for them, So all these things you will have to think about inside when you are enjoying the emotion. Suddenly, when we are awaking from something we are enjoying, at least 50% of the attachment is dropped. Okay? And then go and see further. Diligence means what? We have to do many times. Many times, we finally realize actually they are just traps. They are just traps. Okay? So, once we see all this, we detach from all our 4 positive emotions. We do not allow the arising of attachment. Again, all these 4 positive emotions are not wrong, okay? They are merely there to tempt us. That's why the purpose why we come to this samsara is actually 2 things, challenges and temptation. They are here just to tempt us, to make us attached to them. Okay? So that's why for Bodhisattvas, we allow these emotions. You can still enjoy and taste them, but we do not arise attachment to them. Because we are householder, we still have spouse, we still have children that we love, we still have a lot of belongings. Fine, okay? But don't attach. You can enjoy the emotion, but not enjoy. You can taste. Once I use enjoy, people start to attach. You can taste the emotion and let go and not look out for it for the rest of my life. Okay? This is a very special skills for Bodhisattvas. Okay? However, if we are still very, very trapped, still love all the attachment, all the excitement, so that means we are very much affected by this ego. Basically, you know why we go for all these 4 positive emotions? It was because we are too empty inside. That's why we need to be 高兴, because we don't know how to be 快乐 anymore. We are so unhappy, so hard to feel happy. So we thought creating excitement is happiness. It is such a wrong connotation, you know. The real reason behind emotional traps are actually emptiness, restlessness, and loneliness. And all this is because of the ego, very hurt ego inside us. All the past memory, all the unresolved issues, all the problems we cannot settle, you know. All these things make us very lousy, feel very empty, you see. So we go for all these emotional traps. So, and when we taste them, we start to attach to them. Because we thought that this one can chase away all my emptiness and my loneliness inside. Actually, this is a myth. It is not true. The more you have emotional traps, the worse restlessness and emptiness inside. However, we didn't see it. We cannot see it because too much of emotion inside. We tend to attach to this ego. So now, what is the 2? One is aversion, another one is attachment. Attachment, we always chase for the high, right, good, and positive. Alright, these 2 sides of the world, they are called the separation of concept. That means, Mandarin we call 二元对立. They are actually opposing views, right? And this is actually one word we can describe, we call duality. We have vast duality in life. The more different they are, the worse for us, because we are so afraid of low and we are so eager for high. When we are like that, we suffer because we are so worried about this separation. Okay, so this separation we call duality in English, easier, 二元对立. Okay, so this duality, we have to do something about it, or else we will suffer the rest of our life, because we keep chasing for the positive and keep avoiding the negative. And what is positive and what is negative, they are a myth. They are not true. Basically, there is no difference in all phenomena. Any phenomena that arises, it was us, the ego, tell us this is good, this is bad, this is good, this is bad. So, actually, it's only a phenomena. But we like to brand this phenomena into duality. What is good, what is bad. So, now, to solve our problem is to go back to equilibrium. We call it 不二, that means the middle way. You know, we don't go to the extreme of the high, we don't go to the extreme of the low. I'm not asking you to, never mind then we go for low go for wrong No, we go into the middle path. That's why this is what the Buddha preached, the middle way. Everything go back to the middle. That's why a very developed being are very, very ordinary. Doesn't mean that he is somebody, wow, very holy, or maybe, you thought somebody like beggar. No. A very developed being are very ordinary beings like you and me. Okay? So, in order to go back to non-duality, we usually use the third skill we call Ogmi 3 and 5. Under Ogmi 3 and 5, we learn all the right view, whereby, you remember the class we attended talking about Kalama Sutta? The Buddha said, walk the path. Verify everything yourself. Do not believe what he said, even the Buddha. So what do? We observe, we contemplate, we match, we investigate the reality, the ultimate reality of universe. Okay, so with 3 and 5, 3 proof and 5 analysis, we gain back our faith and also our courage, our confidence on these views. This one you got to go back to the class, the previous class we had. Okay, under Ogmi 3 and 5, when we try to break a concept, say for example, just now the same example, the mother didn't cook a nice dinner. Okay, so to the mother, it is a mistake. You criticize me, so it's a mistake, right? So to her, because she got angry, means what? I cannot make mistake. That means her perception behind her is what? Mistake is bad, low, wrong, negative. She holds this perception, okay? I cannot make mistakes, which many of us also like that. We are very scared of mistakes. So go do Ogmi 3 and 5. Break this concept. Is mistake so terrible? Alright? So when I still agree that mistake is bad, go back, continue our Ogmi 3 and 5. Okay? Go look out for mistakes. You see, some people make mistakes, but they grow very fast. They are better now because they learn from it. Hey, mistake can be good, ne? When somebody don't do mistakes, don't make mistakes, actually because the person didn't do any work. Correct or not? You don't work, then you don't do anything and you don't make mistakes. So we keep seeing all this, what is mistake? And when we see all the successful men, they don't care about mistakes. The mistakes, they will just let go and they go on. It's only those people who are not very successful, they always dwell in mistake, and they're so angry when people say that they made mistakes, but they cannot go very far. So when we do Ogmi 3 and 5, we look at people around us, this one memang, then we start to break concept about mistake. Then we look at ourselves, actually, why can't I make mistake? How can we learn if we are not allowed to make mistakes? Right? So then we start to break concept. Okay? Now, actually mistake okay or no? I start to agree with 3 and 5. Okay? Then right view forming. Because even inside the 3 proof, the saint, like people like Buddha, they already said it's okay to make mistake. So what my research, whatever I did, my verification actually tie back to what all the saints are talking about. That means I'm on the right track. So my right view forming. Now I believe that actually making mistake is okay. Okay? However, once the right view is formed, right view only, is actually on the ego level. It is not us yet. Because it's not assimilated into me yet. I only know I can make mistake. But when situation arises, say my husband suddenly criticized me, my anger rise again. But I thought okay to allow people to criticize me and say that I made a mistake. I thought I am okay with it. But sorry, because you overlook something called habit, past habit. The moment the criticism comes, somebody said I'm wrong, I'm so defensive. I want to argue back. Then I think to myself, I thought I'm okay. Why? How come I'm still so argumentative? Because of our past habit. Habit is something we cannot overlook. It is there since the beginningless of time. So that's why, how can we assimilate the right view that we learn, and we have made so much studies on it, into our eight consciousness and become me? That one is another skill. Okay? That one is not at ego level, I know I can make mistake. That one is, I deeply believe mistake is okay. So when people criticize me, is it? The criticism is one side. The content very important. What he was talking about, was it true? I check myself first. At that one, you are okay already lah. But before I check, my anger already arise. You are still at the ego level of understanding mistake is alright only. Okay? So how can we assimilate a right view into ourselves? Here, we really need our two new friends. Vow and motto. Vow and motto are actually two skills is to assimilate the right view into us. Okay, vow and motto actually are very high class skill. I don't know how to use them. Very high class, Why? They are solely for people who sincerely want to change over. If you talk, listen to Dharma, very nice, okay lah, I feel good. That one, sorry lah. Vow and motto not for you. Vow and motto are for people who are very far-sighted. I really want to eradicate my defilement. That's why people who actually use vow and motto are really very noble people. In fact, here constitute 90% of our mental energy. Because you see, human beings are very short-sighted. Let's say, for example, today I'm angry. My son said my cooking is not nice. I'm angry. So after that, they saw my black face and then they say, sorry lah, mommy. Okay lah. Then over already. Over already, that's it. Okay, life goes on. We're so short-sighted, After our anger gone, we thought the issue is settled. Hey, come back. Come back to the original place. How come my anger can arise? Today my son said something. Tomorrow my colleague criticized me. I get angry again. Then next day my husband said something. I'm not nice or whatever. I'm no good. I got angry again. Actually, we are not liberated at all. We are just solving the problem every day. This is every day, don't know how many times. But the thing repeat, and repeat. And we learn nothing out of every lesson. That's why the Tathagata, Rulaya, the nature is very good. They keep telling you you learn something or not. That's why they send people and come and criticize us so many times. We still never learn. We just want to solve that anger there and then only. The real liberation is when next time, I don't care who, they said whatever, I'm just not affected. This is called liberation. Forever and ever. Vow and motto are for people like this. So people who are very sincere will use vow and motto. And in fact, the big Maha Bodhisattvas, they are very good with this. Very, very good. Okay? So that's why I say very high class lah. It's a lot of work, but very interesting work. Very high class work, okay? Okay, so with vow and motto, we begin to assimilate our right view into our eighth consciousness. Finally, we go back to the middle way. Okay, so these are the entirety of 5 PAT skills. Overview lah, an overview only. Okay. So a lot of people, especially from the Mahayana sect, they came and told many of the masters, they say how to practice, how to apply, because they have a lot of Dharma knowledge, but no skills. Okay, so with these 5 skills, you are very busy, It is really like meditating in daily life. All these are found inside our Eightfold Path. So I come to this later, because at least you must know what is vow and motto first. Okay. So the next thing I want to explain is actually the in-depth of vow and motto. Okay. A lot of times we are easily sucked back into the story. Okay, for example, I'm okay with mistake. I try not to afraid of mistake. But the moment the situation arises, I'm already inside. I'm already so angry. Because why? I'm so easily sucked back into the story. Because of these two culprits. Okay, remember 5 aggregates. Our body, our feelings, our memory, or sometimes you call them perception, our mental objects. Okay, mental objects too difficult to understand. I like to use story. Okay, and finally our consciousness. The two culprits that always pull us back into the story are these two, memory and story. Always drill us back into the story. These two, memory and story, are the two culprits that do not allow us to wake up. They are the two always drag ourselves into the dream. Memories are all the past hurt, past happening, past experiences, and story is like continuing with very juicy kind of, you know, when we like to watch TV, actually this is a story lah. You like gossip, story lah. We like, because we are Putujanas. You know, the Bodhisattvas, they need to make effort to go and listen to story, That's why it's actually a matter of a number game. We are just as good as them. Because when we come to Buddha nature, you realize how great you are. And this is a real you, real you. The Buddha said in Shurangama Sutta. Okay? So it's another number game again, right? So there are these two reasons why we are so difficult to repositioning to happen. Number one, just now we were talking about memory, this memory. This is what is spoken by the Buddha in Surangama Sutta. Various past experiences created views that the mind held onto. These memories affect our thoughts, which influence our responses. These are called excuses. Okay, I don't know how to translate the Mandarin called 笼统. 笼统 means like excuses lah. Okay, when something happen, we like to use excuses to go back into our old habits. Okay, for example, the excuses we always use because of the imagination. It's our imagination because of also past hurt. For example, I like to use for insecure people who are very afraid of being left behind, being abandoned, no progress, and everything need to be faster, faster, and faster. These are the traits of insecure people. So the moment I ask them, slow down, never mind, take your time, then immediately the excuses go behind is, slow down, then I'll lose out, Then I'm not in front, you see. Then I cannot win, I will be late. All these excuses will start running because of the past experience. Okay, so we will try to create a lot of excuses to move forward faster and faster. Okay, so because of our past memory. Okay, so whereas for inferior people who were actually bullied before or seen a lot of unfair situation before, so they are very inferior because they were hurt. And because of that, they become a very angry person. They want to exaggerate the ego because the ego was being bound for too long. So what they do is that when they exaggerate the ego, they use anger. So the moment you ask them not to be angry, then the excuses will come. The excuses of the past experience. Not angry. Not angry, they will bully you up to your head. No. This kind of style. Not angry. Next time worse, I tell you. Again. So all these are 笼统 excuses. So you will go back to the old habit because of memory. Okay, this is what the Buddha already said. Okay, number 2. Another culprit is our story. Remember the 5 aggregate story. Okay, this story, I will call it a hidden pool. Again, it's not easy to translate the sutta into English. Okay, the sutta said, your mental objects in the form of thoughts flow incessantly. This is a hidden pool. Chinese we call 幽隐, 妖人. Yu is very quiet, very dark, very sneaky. Yin is very hidden, you know. So I don't know how to translate. I only use hidden pool. Very subtle hidden pool. You know when you go to airport, there's this escalator. The one flat on the ground one, when you step on it, you don't have to walk, it will just pull you on like that. Our thoughts are like that lah. It flow incessantly. If you want to get out from the escalator, you need to use a lot of mindfulness, right? Then only you can hop out. Our mind is like that lah. If you are not mindful, it will just drag you on. So this pool, this hidden pool, this very subtle hidden pool is actually the story, our mental object. Okay, these excuses and this hidden pool are the one that always pull us back, and then we try to pull ourselves out. You know, that's why this is the struggle. And that's why a lot of times, I told myself not to. See, happen already. Because we lose to these 2 good friends. We are not fast enough. You get me not? So this is what the Buddha already said in Surangama. Okay, so next. So now we need something to help us in this. Because of our memory and story too extensive already. They are too overwhelming to us. Right? Because of the habit, since beginningless of time, our old perceptions, So that's why we need some skills to help us. And these 2 skills are the ones that we're going to introduce, the vow and the motto. Okay, what is vow? Okay, now we go into vow. Vow is something that we promise ourselves. There are 4 great vows for the Bodhisattvas. Number 1, sentient beings are incalculable. I vow to deliver them all. That means I vow to save them. Save them all. 眾生無邊誓願度. Another vow, the Dharma doors are innumerable. I vow to master them all. 法門無量誓願學. Okay? Then, Buddhahood is supreme. I vow to attain it. 佛道無上誓願成. Okay? So these 3 vows are not so much for us first, the beginners, okay? Just later, okay? But the second one is very, very pertinent to us. Afflictions are infinite. I vow to eliminate them all. 煩惱無盡誓願斷. Okay? Because 煩惱, afflictions, I want to get out. Right? This is the one that sees all agony. Okay? So, these are the 4 great vows of the Bodhisattvas. That's why the Bodhisattvas will come back and save sentient beings. We are very, very different from the Arahat path. Very, very different. Okay? So, these 4 are the master vows of all Bodhisattvas. Okay, the main vows. But within main vows, there are also sub-vows. And these sub-vows is to counter excuses. Why? Because the moment when I vow something and I said something, I'm not going to allow all excuses to hinder me. Okay, for example, I vow to myself, I'm such an angry person. I vow I'm not going to get angry easily anymore. Vow, vow, vow. Okay? So, the moment when situation arises, I got a lot of excuses, you know. You see him, you see, you want to actually reply. But then, because of this vow, you tell yourself before, I don't care about anything. I just cannot get angry. Chop. So, no more excuses. So, the vow is actually very powerful. Okay? Like, for example, for insecure people, I always invite them to vow not to be hasty anymore. Can you do things one by one, gently? Vow. When you vow, don't give excuses. Because if I don't do this, I will do all this. You tell yourself, no matter how, I allocate more time. I just want to do things according to my pace. No more hasty way of doing things, handling things, and no more rushing. Okay, you can vow for this. For inferior people, usually they are very angry, hot-tempered. Vow that I drop my anger. You can vow for all this. Okay, traits of vow. How do we vow? When we vow, we need to be very sincere. As I said, this is something very high class. Because you want to change over, that's why you vow. Sincerity can be increased by two things. Number one, suffering. Number two, guilt. Also suffering. Okay? Suffering is sometimes I'm so fed up because I'm always so angry. I'm angry with myself because I'm always angry. A lot of this kind of people, no. So you're very fed up already. This is suffering. That's why you're very sincere. You want to chop this defilement off. Number two, guilt. Something happened. You feel very guilty. You want to drop a defilement. For example, what happened to my sister when she was younger? She was in her secondary school. So she borrowed one hat from me to go for picnic, don't know what, excursion. Then after that, I told her 3 times, don't lose this hat. I like very much. Okay? That time all in secondary school. Okay, I say, you don't lose it. You don't lose it. Make sure. True enough, she went there and lost the hat. And when she came back, she was so guilty. So guilty because regardless of all the reminders, the way she lose it, not because somebody took it. She said she was very angry with herself because that part of the memory was totally blank inside her mind. What happened to the hat? What happened to the hat? She was so angry with herself, with this guilt. She told herself she will never misplace things anymore. Today she's 48. I never hear her saying she don't know put things where. Never. And even at home, sometimes anybody lose something or misplace something, she will be the first to tell us where is the thing. Because of her guilt, that's why she made a vow. Then she dropped off this defilement of being too excited, we call, too excited and forgot about everything around. So guilt can actually increase our sincerity. Guilt and suffering. Okay, you have to be very sincere when you make a vow. Number 2, when you make this vow, it needs a lot of focus and samadhi. Okay, you need to be very quiet and think about it. Think deeply about it. That's why this is the right concentration part under the Eightfold Path. During meditation, we always play with these 3 items: right concentration, right effort, and right mindfulness. We use the right mindfulness to balance up our right concentration and our right effort, right? So we are very good in meditation. But how do we use in daily life? Basically, these skills will tell us, actually vow, we need a lot of focus on, you know. You have to be very, a lot of samadhi, a lot of tranquility when you make a vow. Okay? And you carry the vow with you. So this one is actually right concentration under the Eightfold Path. And usually a vow is very sharp, very deep, very vertical. And we are talking about quality. I like to akin it to a knife. When a knife is very sharp, means your vow is very good quality. Okay? Maybe because of guilt, maybe because of suffering. So one time the vow, one cut, the rope break. But many a times our knife are very blunt. Okay, never mind, you can still vow. Blunt, that's why you need motto. You need motto. That's why vow and motto, both of them work together. Okay? So anyway, if you have a very strong vow, like people who drive and kill somebody, you know, accident kill somebody, that kind of guilt, then whatever they vow, they will sure carry out on. This is vow lah. Okay? So, another one very great people who vow, who, you know the kamikaze, IS people, why they're so brave? Because of the vow. Sometimes we call it creed. They call creed, something like that. When they vow, they can even die. This is the power of vow. You know, because of truth, you speak out, then somebody kill you. But never mind, I do it. It's the courage, you know. It's something, wow, you very, very respect of what you say. Okay? So, when a person who vows, and when you can carry it out yourself, you know what is the bonus? I'm talking about bonus, because our true intention is to eradicate agony, cease agony, and stop all our affliction. But you know what are the bonus, the byproduct of it? If I vow and I carry out all my vows, the first thing happened to me is I really like myself. I love myself. A lot of times, you go out and tell people, hey, you must love yourself, you know, and all these people will run and go travel, go spa, go massage. That's called loving yourself. Oh no, that's called trapping ourselves. Okay? Loving ourselves is to have all the good qualities inside us. This one we will talk about 8 Bodhisattvas virtues. When you have all the Bodhisattva virtues, you can never dislike yourself. Never. And you don't need anybody to love you because you love yourself so much. And because of this, a lot of people like to love you because of the Bodhisattva virtues. Okay? It isn't money cannot buy, you know, when you like yourself. You know the technique of finding out whether you like yourself or not. You go back, either you look into the mirror, you ask, do I like you? Or sometimes you sit down, meditative posture, you ask, if I have a friend called Carol Kwok, will I like this friend? Ask. Sometimes we dislike ourselves, we didn't know. You know, but actually it's not that we are no good because we feel very empty because of all the past hurt. And sometimes the nasty things we do a bit because of the hurt again. Okay? So that's why how to love ourselves. Spiral all these good qualities inside us. This is the solution. Not go and enjoy, travel, you know, that one is not love yourself, you know. You come back, you still hate yourself. Okay? So the bonus is number 1, you love yourself, right? Number 2, you know, when you vow and when you can carry out, you know what happened? A lot of your karmic debt drop off. 洗業障 Very good. Because you are very sincere. You are touching your heart. You are touching your true nature. You want to change over. You mean business. Wow, all the karmic debt drop off. And if you can make a very great vow, like the vow of saving all sentient beings, you know what happened? all the Bodhisattvas and Deva will come and protect you because of the vow. Okay? So that's why vowing is very, very powerful. It's only that we don't know how to make use of it. You know? So when we vow, we actually pull out our good nature in us, the virtue in us when we vow. Okay? But of course, without sincerity, it becomes parroting lah. You parrot, you still vow, that one no strength. The vow, it depends. It's just like love lah. I love you, love only, love. You see the way he treat you, you know. It is it's like you only can know whether a vow is valid from the inside the heart. Okay? And some people ask, what if I vow already, I cannot carry out? Of your interest, right? Okay, there are two situations. Okay, one is okay, one is not okay. Okay, let's say if I vow, but I made a mistake, not purposefully, that means it's okay. For example, I vow I don't want to get angry so quickly, okay? But when situation arise, my husband criticize me. I reply back, then I think to myself, shh. This one okay. Because it's a mistake. Hey, come on, mistake what? We are not saint yet. We are human. Mistake. It's okay. Scenario number two. Same thing. Husbands criticize. I saw my anger rise up. And I'm so angry with his comment. Okay? But I know I vowed. But I cannot stand it. I say, I scold first. I scold first, then only I talk. Okay, sorry. This one, you broke the vow. When you can pull handbrake, but you did not. Yeah, which is a purposeful already. Because of your defilement, you cannot overcome the defilement. That's why you give way. But that is your vow, you know. That one, number one, you dislike yourself. Number two, all the karmic debt come back. Number three, all your deva got run away. This person is not sincere. Okay, goodbye. If let's say mistake got second chance lah, mistake what? Mistake I'm okay. But if let's say you purposefully break the vow, that means you are breaking vow lah. Okay? Of course not so good lah. Then you try to repent and then try again. Mistake is okay. Okay? Because we make mistake. Cannot. When let's say your spouse keep on with the criticism, that means you are still not recovered yet. He is a Pusa, you know. He is giving you the training all the time. It's just like you want to train a sportsman. Ayo, one time enough. You have to train for, Lee Chong Wei? You know how to train for how long? Is it not? So many times when the criticism comes, actually it's a training. But later we will come to a chart, you will know you will recover because of you, not the criticism. Criticism can be continuous. The recovery is not, he don't criticize me anymore. That one is not Buddhism, you know, because you're still depending on external object. You think he will not criticize me anymore, that means I recover. Hey, what about another fella? Mr. A stopped criticizing me, then Mr. B. So the recovery actually is when whoever criticizes me, I am not affected anymore. That one is real liberation. You get me, not? So good lah. If let's say continue, Pusa. Thank you. I'm still affected. Okay, continue. You know, continue on. That's why we call cultivation. Or else, what is the difference between a Puthujjana and a Bodhisattva? A Bodhisattva, you know Bodhisattvas are the quality. You know, when we come to all these virtues, you will realize the Bodhisattva are so different from Puthujjanas. Okay, so that's why we need to put in blood and sweat. Okay, yes.
Regarding scenario number one, mistakes. Can mistake be an excuse because we are not mindful?
Okay, it depends on yourself. whether you are aware of it or not. Only you can tell. Let's say if a sincere mistake, actually I want to change over, but too fast, I never expected he said something like that. Suddenly I blurted thing out. Then I realized immediately, okay, actually I know, that one is okay. But if you're not mindful, because even mindfulness, you cannot be mindful all the time. We will still make mistake. Correct? So that's why even when we are not mindful, not purposely not mindful, it's just that because we are human, because of all the past habit, because of mistakes, I'm okay with it. That means I will forgive myself lah. Okay. Come, one more time. Another round. We must learn to forgive because as I said before, mistake is okay. Doesn't mean that we are low, we are wrong, we are not allowed. We are allowed. But, we have to learn from that mistake and come back to the middle here. Okay? Okay, next we go to motto. Okay, motto is here to fight your story, whereby there are a lot of hidden pull inside the story. Motto is to fight this pull. There are 4 great dharanis of Bodhisattvas. Okay? Dharani means motto lah. Motto. Okay? 总词 means what? Is something you summarize and become a motto. Okay? Dharani on phenomena, 法总起. Dharani on meaning. Dharani on mantra, 咒总起. Dharani on samadhi, 忍总起. This one is also another skill of Mahabodhisattvas. So we only take one to practice, which is Dharani on phenomena. Alright? So what did the sutta say about Dharani on phenomena? Choose a word, a name, or a sentence that encompasses all aspects of life's situation. Recites its wisdom and apply incessantly without forgetting it forever. Okay? 法种起. So that means you choose a word, a name, or a sentence that represents all situations. Okay? And keep reciting on it so that you can remember it for life. Okay? And until and unless assimilated into our 8th consciousness, you don't have to remember anymore. Okay? For example, insecure people, because they are very hasty, I can create one motto for myself, in fact, which I've used in my life, because I'm also a very quick worker, okay? So I always tell myself, slow down. Slow down. Or gentle. Be gentle. It can be my motto. For very angry people, it can be let go. Let go. This dharani, this motto is very personal one, no? Only you will know what is it. Instead of chanting Amitabha, sometimes you can use dharani. Because this is even more proactive, more dynamic. Because actually I'm changing. Rather than Amitofo, I will say, slow down. Whatever I do, slow down. Be gentle. So when you have a motto for yourself, recite it as and when you have free time. When the mental state is free. It's not productive. Like for example, when you're driving. Okay? When you are walking towards a very long hallway to a toilet. So, okay, remember. So this one becomes a homework. Keep reciting. The Buddha said, recite its wisdom and apply incessantly without forgetting it forever. That's why when you keep reciting, keep guarding your mind, you know what we are actually guarding against? This hidden pull. It's just like when you're on the escalator, you are of very guarding mind. I want to hop out, I hop out already. And when I'm talking to my friend, you hop out, I sure fall, isn't it? Because you're not mindful, right? So this Dharani motto is actually to capture our mindfulness actively, dynamically. This motto is very much like you do a lot of homework and then compress your wisdom into a medicine and eat the medicine every day, quick and fast. When situation arise, you must use already. You cannot keep thinking about, why I should like that, why I should not like that. No time, because situation very fast. Challenges come, apply. Come, apply. Okay? So that's why it's just like 養兵千日啊，用在一朝. Your crew of your soldiers, when the war come only, you start training. Right? You keep training and wait for the war. It is very much like motto. When I go for my dinner, I want to wear nicely. So what do? I have to go on diet for months. Only for that function. Correct? Because all these are homework for it. Okay? So motto is very much like that. And this motto can be very dynamic, Why? Because it can also apply on a situation. Like slowing down, when I walk, slow down, talk, slow down, everything slow down. Okay, fine. That one is for myself. But what about a situation? I can even use a motto to handle situations. For example, I have this friend. I think a lot of ladies also got this problem. She said every time in a car, when the husband is driving, the husband will sure ask, where's the son? Where's the son? So after my friend answered, he's in the college. Not far. Where's the son? Don't know why every time, where's the son? Or maybe, where is the place of the dinner? When you answer already, but the thing never register, then later he will ask again. And he will ask again and again. Okay? So my friend used motto. Because last time, before he learned all this, every time the husband asked, she replied. Okay? And the second time he asked, she replied with anger already. Third time he asked, they will start quarreling. This is a usual thing for this couple. Okay? So what she did was, she used a motto. She come up with a way to handle the situation. Okay? So she allowed herself to only reply one time. Okay? The most maximum 2 times. If the journey very far, the husband can ask 5 times. Okay? So, first time when the husband asks, where's the son? He's in a cinema with friends. Okay? Second time, if the husband asks, she decided to keep quiet. She's decided to keep quiet without anger. Just look at the husband. Okay? So the husband kept quiet also. So third time he asked, because the habit, you see, she refused to answer. Sooner or later, the husband was being trained already. Never ask again. Why? Because you can use the motto, get ready with situation, how to handle. So actually, motto is very dynamic. You can use it, one phrase, for a mental state, or maybe you can even create a scenario so that this scenario you can apply when situation arises. Okay, so finally, these are the traits of the motto. Number 1, you need a lot of effort and diligence because you keep reciting whenever you have free time. A lot of people ask me, oh yeah, so many motto how many how yeah. Sometimes you got so many defilements you don't know which one to address first. You go for the more prominent ones that affect us. Okay, so then you can recite. Maybe you take 2 or 3 to practice. Okay, so this motto is very much our right effort inside our Eightfold Path. Number 2, you need a lot of patience and persistence. Continue, keep doing. That's why a lot of effort. Okay, and lastly, usually it's repetitive. Okay, repetition. Repetitive, very shallow compared to vow, which is very deep. This one very shallow. That's why you chop many times. Horizontal. It's not vertical. Okay? And it talk about quantity, number of time. Many times. Okay? That's why when the rope is so hard, cannot break, never mind. If my vow is not sharp enough, what I do is I chop many times. You will sure succeed. That's why vow and motto has to work together. Okay? They are your right concentration and your right effort. Behind is your stepping back, which is your right mindfulness. Right? So your right thought and your right view are actually another 2 skills, which is your tearing and Ogmi 3 and 5. Okay, so when you are very good with vow and motto, so what happened? Okay, vow and motto is to counter the habit of us diving into the story so easily. Okay, pull us back. The way we measure is to answer your question, the question that both of you asked me. Actually, the way to see whether our performance has improved or we have recovered, you look at how this table will tell. So every time when we try, the only way to succeed is when anger didn't arise. Okay? So that is our yardstick. Because I want to cease agony. I want to stop all afflictions, right? So I use vow and motto to play a computer game. Okay? So all situations, all people are my pusa. They are here to test me. So I use vow and motto as my joystick. And the winning is when I was not hit by my anger. It's really like playing a computer game. That's why it's called Holy War. Because this game only you know. Nobody know one. You don't even have to share with anybody. But you just smile inside. Okay? When you win. Okay? Let's say if I quarrel with my husband. My spouse. Okay? Usually a person without awakening, sometimes this lousy feeling lasts for 2 weeks. Okay? Sometimes I blackface, he also blackface. We don't talk. He don't talk, I don't talk. Okay? Then maybe 2 weeks later, after all the ding ding dang dang forgot already, then life goes back on. Then another situation arises, still the same. So this is very common among all spouses. So this one, no awakening, and anger hit me for 2 weeks. Sometimes 2 days. Some people, they learn. But then after that, bosong, why bosong? Ting, 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 2 days already. Ting, 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 I can relate. Oh, it was the quarrel. Like unsettled issue, But lasted 2 days. 10 marks only. Still red, fail. Okay? So continue the vow and motto with your anger. Next, affected few hours. Went into the argument, quarrel already. Then after that, still thinking about the story, what he said, no, like that, or the mother-in-law, father-in-law. No. After that, few hours later, I shouldn't. Why? I promised myself. I vowed before. Few hours later, that's why fail. 30 marks. Okay? During the argument, you saw the anger. Affect us during the argument. Okay pass At least you see it. You see for yourself. My anger came up. Okay? 60%. Okay 50 to 60 here can pass a bit Oh, before anger arise. Continue with vow and motto. Alright? And because you're so good with your mind, you will know usually this kind of scenario you should argue on. Sure we know each other so well already as husband and wife, right? So, before my anger arise, before this argument, I already get ready. So during the argument or during the struggle, my anger didn't come up. Because I was actually looking at my anger instead of that situation. Instead of the story. Oh, this one very good already, not bad. Win. Your score, 70 points. Okay? Still got room to improve. 85 marks. When I'm guarding my emotions all the time because of my motto. Okay? So before all the argument, I really looking out for my anger. Actually, I'm not looking at my husband anymore. I'm not looking at the situation anymore. Okay, situation I look out for, but all these people are not my objects anymore. My real object is the anger. Turn my attention to my anger, my emotion, my ego. This motto is really a guarding angel, really a guarding tool for us. Okay, so if I guarded situation arises, I am not angry. Wow, not bad, 85%. And finally, because I guard and guard, I guard until actually I no more anger already. One day, I also cannot find my anger anymore. Effortless, 100%. Because I guarded so well, it becomes a habit. This kind of situation arises, I also forgot I need to be angry. Those people who walk the path shed this. You can, but slowly lah. That's why just now this gentleman asking, how long? You think how long? Up to you. It can be within a month. It can be 10 years. Up to you. But the scoring or the effect has to be effortless. That means you are recovered. Some people came back and said, yeah, it's true. Last time when he say words like that, I got very angry. But now okay already, that one is recovered. That's why sometimes, according to Diamond Sutra, even when you recover, you don't even realize. You don't even realize that you're recovered, because you're so involved in the game. Yeah, it's actually a holy war walking inside. The tool is already here. The method already taught. But the question is, now we have to be persistent and patient to walk the path and do it. Very interesting, right? It's really like playing computer game inside. Then what you come here for? Make money, grow old, sick, die. What for? We die with the same old habit or maybe worse habit. Not worth it, isn't it? Remember the 6, 7, 8. Only 6, 7, 8 can be carried with us. And this is the one that adjusts our 7 and our 8 You get me not? So this is something very interesting, And in fact, vow and motto takes up 90% of our effort. Ogmi 3 and 5, it's very interesting. It's very active. But that one you need to go out and do research. Or you listen to something, you learn something out of it. You have to wait for situation arise to learn. But vow and motto is really up to you. So you can be very, very busy. A lot of things to do on the mental side. Okay? And another little clue I like to share with everybody, when we do vow and motto, make sure we do it at the core. Some people do it, I don't want to get angry. Only to the husband. Ayya, you are already practicing what? Why don't you do it at the core? Or maybe some people get very angry easily with the son. Or only with the boss. No, don't do it at the outer layer. Go deep inside, do it at the core. I'm not going to get angry with all situations, all human beings, all things. Do it at the core. Since we are practicing already, why don't we practice wisely and smartly? You're still using the same effort and time. Don't only use your motto towards husband. Towards everybody. That's why this is what the Chinese sutta said. 10 directions. Subform. 10 directions. All directions. Okay? So this one is a little bit of the skill. It's not easy initially. But once you get the hang out of it, you will find your life very fulfilled. very fulfilled, you love yourself because you're very disciplined with the mental state, and then also you look out for it, you learn a lot of things, and you saw yourself improving with your emotions, everything like very within control, because everything inside. I don't have to depend on people outside. And you ask me whether I want to do this or to go and control my son, my wife, my husband. I rather do it inside here, The effort and time and resources spent to control the people outside me, and all the expectation, disappointment, and hopeless. You make yourself very drained, very tired, very, very sad. Rather than I do this, I don't have to depend on anybody. I can eradicate all my suffering and liberate myself just by doing all this inner work, That's why there's the power of Buddhism, you see. Again, I like to stress, Buddhism doesn't mean that when you practice, nothing bad will happen to you. Wow, this is so wrong. So wrong. Because we are in samsara. Because impermanence and non-self is always there. I can practice very well, but I can still get 4th stage cancer. Fine. I can still die at an early age with a lot of money. Fine. So all this is actually wrong connotation out there that, when you practice, no bad things happen to you, Wow, this one very dangerous. When I hear this, I feel very scared. Because you are trading, you are gambling with your faith. Faith, how expensive. I'd rather lose 1 million in Genting rather than lose my faith, man, I tell you. Faith is something money cannot buy, Faith toward something that you believe. So better believe the right thing, don't believe the wrong thing. Okay, basically, until here, vow and motto, we have finished. So we can start training the path using these 5 skills. Something I like to add on, since we are talking about effort, because this entire year we talk about effort, not so much on tolerance. So effort is something that we need to work on. Okay, not because we are oppressed, we learn how to deal with situation. Now we have to learn how to have effort so that we become a better person. We don't fall into the trap of the 4 emotional traps whereby we start to inflict on others. Okay, so now we know how to practice. So when we practice all these 5 skills, something will happen. Okay, if we were to tread this path, one thing very sure is that we have to quieten down. Correct or not? You cannot be still very active, still, because then you cannot really sit down and face ourselves. A lot of time we have to be mindful. We have to stay at home and look out for our, emotions, step back, learn how to tear. Something happened today, go back at night, tear out actually what happened, So all these, you listen to Dharma talk, and then you compare, you match, you do ogmi, you vow, you motto. All these are very personal and very quiet things you do inside. Okay? While doing all this, we are beginning to look inward and face ourselves. Challenges will come. Challenges will come because while doing all this, you will suddenly see a lot of unfavorable emotion gush out. For example, restlessness, boredom, loneliness, sadness. All this will gush out, when we are training this path of transformation. This is something very natural. When all these things are happening, a lot of practitioners thought that they are something wrong. They are not practicing correct. And they lose faith and they gave up. Oh, really, this is not the case. Because while you are training this path, especially initially when we are not skillful, all these feelings comes up because you are confronting yourself, allowing all your past karmic debt surfacing. All these are your karmic debt coming out, Actually, when a person quieten down, all this gush out naturally, even for a person who is not practicing. But what we do, call friend. When we are restless, When we feel sad, we call friends, we go for teh tarik. We go to pub, we sing karaoke. So you didn't see already. Correct or not? You know the whole development on KL is because of all this restlessness lah, all this boredom lah, all this loneliness lah. So human beings start to create a lot of excitement outside. That's why we don't see it. But for practitioners, because we are cultivators, we try to quieten down, right? So all this gush out is very natural. And it is very sadhu. Why? Because we are given a chance to clear our karmic debt under a situation whereby we can determine I want or don't want. Just like when I go meditation, 2 weeks inside this monastery. When I sit down, I see my acute pain. I think maybe this is the karmic that some violence karma. Wow, so painful. But I can stand. You know why? Because behind my mind, I know the moment I stand up, the pain will go off. But at least during that pain, I'm actually clearing off my karma, my karmic debt. Right? That's why cultivators are given a chance to clear your karmic debt at a willing timing, you know. If you're not a cultivator, you know what happened? Doesn't mean that the thing you are spared. Yeah, all this pain, restlessness, boredom, loneliness, sadness gush out at our deathbed. You know how terrible that time? You cannot say, I will stand up, okay, ready, ma? Sorry. Or maybe I call my friend, talk. You can't even move. I know an old lady. She went meditation with us, but she couldn't stand restlessness. Then she kept asking why she meditates. At that moment, I'm not skillful enough to answer her. Okay? But at her deathbed, she really has to pay back all this restlessness. If she chose to pay it during the retreat, the meditation retreat, maybe she didn't have to pay back so much at the deathbed. That's why I say, as a cultivators, we are very lucky. But you must know that you are lucky. So many people didn't know. So they go back to normal daily life. Please, this is journey. In fact, when I talk about this one, there were some Christian friends. It seems among the Christians, they also have this, you know. It seems the moment you want to, want to become close to God, you are given challenges. Because, again, like the same thing, your karmic debt, all gush out to clear off. Okay? So it's really okay. Especially people who are very fear-based, you will see a lot of sadness, a lot of guilt, a lot of sadness, and you feel very restless. People who are of anger-based usually will feel very trapped, very lonely, you know. So a lot of mixed feelings will come up. But sadhu because you are cultivating. And all this situation arises doesn't mean that it doesn't serve any purpose. Number one, it clears off your debt. Number two, it provides good scenario, good circumstances for us to practice how to handle them. How to handle restlessness. How to handle loneliness. How to handle sadness. So all this when gush out, it's another scenario for us to learn. It's another phenomenon only. So, okay, what are we supposed to do? How do I handle it? Okay? So, I don't know. So far, I find this time when this thing arises, present moment is very good. Present moment. Especially, you look at ourselves when we are quietened down, let's say driving. You look at the young people today. When restlessness hit them, they will take the phone and while driving, they will text. Actually, because the karmic debt is full until here already. So the moment when they drive and quieten down, restlessness comes up. They didn't know. The next thing is that they will grab the phone and reply or text. Actually, the restlessness caused all this, you know. That means this boy, if let's say everything quietened down, she will have to face all these challenges lah. You see? So for us, it's the same. So what we do is that when all these restlessness come up, try to ground ourselves back using present moment. You know, you step back and reposition, you saw these feelings. Okay, but what are you supposed to do? Ground yourself back onto present moment. Driving means driving. So you saw your heart, you want to take the phone and call your friend for mama already, you know. You say, no, continue drive on. Actually, after a while, the thing pass on. Because nothing is permanent. You know, the restlessness lah, the want to, very boring lah, you know, you want to find somebody to talk lah, then lunch eat alone eat alone meh, you know, you will call people, eat alone lah. You need time to do vow and motto, to check my state of mind, you know. All these are actually going back inner work. You need all this space on, you know. But we cannot handle the rest. That's why I have to pre-warn everybody. All these funny feelings will push us to ask us to go and do some other thing. Being alone without the phone is a skill, is an art. Okay, without the phone. Now a lot of people alone, but with the phone, that one is the window for the world. You know? You open up the phone, actually the world is there. That's why now everybody can be alone with the phone. Take away the phone and see. Don't know what to do really. Then they start to shake the leg, you know, all the restlessness will come out. So, why we practice all this? Because we want to cease agony and stop our afflictions, right? Basically, we want to reduce all this negative emotion. Or we don't want to be so emotional, in short. Okay? Because once we are emotional, we are usually not rational. Meaning, usually we make a lot of wrong decisions. Okay? And when we are very emotional, usually we suffer a lot. Okay, so now you look at what Shurangama talk about, people who are very emotional versus people who are very rational. Not people, beings, okay? When your emotion is 0 and your rationality is 100%, you're very rational. What kind of sentient being are you? A bodhisattva. Okay? So, Bodhisattva, that's why because they are stepping back and repositioning is 100%, they are actually very powerful. So, because of this, they are very rational. They see things from a very far perspective. So, 30%, 70%, you are a deva. Not bad lah, 天人. 70% rational, got a bit of emotional lah. 50-50, who? Human. We are like that lah, 50-50 lah. So you find out yourself where you going okay? 50-50. 50% of the time you are emotional, 50% I'm very rational. You know, you calculate yourself, okay? And according to the sutta, it says even for human being, under emotion and being rational, for human being, if your rational is slightly more than your emotion, they call 想明思聰, you are very smart. If your emotion is more than your rational, you are 情憂思頓, more stupid. Even for human, you see a boy or girl, the one very smart one, usually more rational. Usually lah, usually. 60% very emotional, 40% rational. You are animals. For those who are heavier with emotion, even at 60-40, 聰為無群, they are animal of fur. If you are very emotional animal, that means you become fur, like dog and cat. If very light one, you become 羽族, 輕為羽族, bird, the one with feather. Feather beings actually higher than furry being. Okay? And the next 70-30, who? Hungry ghost. Okay? Hungry ghost is worse than animal. In terms of emotion. Right? And then 90 and 10, we call it the hell beings. Angry ghost. Yeah. Hell being more angry, much more angry. Okay. In fact, anger goes to hell, greed goes to ghost realm, and delusion goes to animal realm. You know, the three evil roots. Okay. So for hell being 90% emotion and rational is only 10%. And if you are lighter with emotion, usually you born in the 腰間, heavier 無間. 腰間無間 means what, you know? Got limit or no limit. Let's say if you are heavier, your suffering is unlimited, time is unlimited, and your lifespan is unlimited. Scary. Suffering, life, and time is unlimited for heavier hell being. But if lighter hell being, your time and your suffering and your lifespan is limited. At least not so bad. Okay? And finally, the last one, 100% and zero. Who is this? Avicii hell beings. Avicii. These are the beings that commit the重罪.重罪 means what? The 5 irredeemable sin. The one you kill parents, hurt a Buddha, kill an Arahat, and cause the Sangha to break up. These 5. What? Heinous crime. Correct. This one you go to Avicii hell. Of course, when you can even kill a mother, that means you're really so emotional. You know, or you kill a father. Okay? You look at this chart, is really for those people who care very much about their next birth. This is a guideline. It's always better that we learn to be less emotional. Okay? If this is for our next life, what about at present? At least we have less suffering, right? Right? So that's why it's very, very called for to look inward and handle and settle our own emotions. Okay? So until here, any questions? Yes?
What do you think a person who is very high EQ, a very rational person?
Oh yes, definitely. Emotional quotient. So a person of high EQ, usually they can handle their emotion very well. That's why usually they are more successful, especially timing today. Because we are going into AI, we are going into robotics. The new technology is going to overtake all this whatever repetitive work that we can do. So they are going to be smarter than human, except one part, how to handle emotions. So when you have better EQ, you stand a better chance to succeed in future, especially for the younger generation. So it's more so we have to teach our children how to handle their own emotions. Yeah, EQ is much important than your IQ, definitely. Yeah. Any more?
Just now you say we have to vow. The person ego so big. How to vow? How to become sincere?
Vow. When the ego very big. Okay. Vowing doesn't mean that your ego very big, you cannot vow. Ego very big will cause a lot of suffering for the person, right? So because of this suffering, you want to vow. You want to come out from this suffering so you can vow. So whether or not your ego big or not big, not important. Important is whether you're sincere or not. A very egoistic person can be very sincere. You get me?
In my experience, I see the people very ego one, you will never see the mistake at all. Just every time want people to see me
the one not cultivated
to show my face
the one not cultivated If let's say cultivated, you see you want to change over, you can. Especially for people with ego very big, even it's okay one, you know. It's just that because of the past hurt, that's why they have become very egoistic. But for people who don't see anything wrong with them, that means not time's up yet. So we leave them alone. Usually like that lah. Still got chance. That's why I only speak about Dharma in places like this lor. Well, out there I seldom speak lor. That's why my friends say you talk Dharma? I thought you sing karaoke only. Yeah. Okay, let them think I sing karaoke only lah. Because when you talk outside, you know, you start to brand yourself funnily. So usually I am very casual outside. Unless you want to listen, or unless you are 5 PAT listener who actually follow, then I talk to you. Other than this, usually I don't talk. Because a lot of people don't think that they got problem, then don't talk lah. They don't think they got problem, what? Then okay lah. But we know that they have a lot of problems. You are right. Some more? One more last question. Yes.
Sister, just now you mentioned on the road being cultivated, right? Then you'll see a lot of karma dirt and all the problems will arise. How do you know that, let's say the problems keep arising, that non-ending, that you don't know that you are on the right path and you try to give up? That's something that you mentioned, right? I mean, how do we encourage yourself? How do we know that all these problems keep rising, that we just keep accepting and keep going on, and then how much more that we can accept? You know, the emotional
side of it. Just now I'm talking about is the inner emotion, like restlessness, all the loneliness will come out. You for no reason, For no reason you feel very restless, you feel you want to do something, you feel very boring, and you feel very lonely. All these are the karmic dirt. Okay? If let's say you practice, sometimes you may meet with challenges. You know why? Because your mindfulness increase, your awareness increase. That's why now you can see and identify problems easier. A lot of times people who are very, very dreamy got problem also they didn't know. At least now you saw. You see again my anger. You may find yourself like more problems. Why? Because now you are very good in catching all your small little emotion. Actually, in fact, you are improving. That's why it's just like when you clean the place, very clean, you especially see all the dirt one. If the place is very dirty, with the dirt you also don't see, right? Now the place become clean already. Actually, you saw more dirt. So it's very okay when you see more of it. But the problem is, this is a very good chance for us to keep learning, keep applying all these skills and how to handle all the problems in worldly world. So all these are situations for us to practice and even master our skills. So you can start another motto, never give up. It can be very draining, but that's the purpose why we're here. Please don't come here and think you are supposed to enjoy yourself in samsara. This is a very, very poisonous perception. If a person thinks that I come here is to enjoy myself, loads of suffering waiting for you. We are here to learn, So start a motto, never give up. Come, I try again. Come, I try again. If my skill is not good enough, I learn. I apply. I listen to the talk. In fact, you can ask me. So I will tell you which this is for you to apply. So you become even more mastery with the path. And you know yourself much better by then. So these are all inner work. Of course, it's not going to be easy. If easy, then what is Buddhism? If easy, the Buddha is not very precious, right? You know how precious a Buddha and Maha Bodhisattva is? The highest peak of a Bodhisattva is to eradicate affliction to the extent of pain, sickness, and death. To them, death is like walking from here to that door, from a living hall to a kitchen. They have to have this kind of training until like that, You say, my problems so many, to a Bodhisattva, my death so many. My death, my sickness, my pain so many. That's what they need to see so that they can actually break all this concept about death, sickness, and pain. Get me not? So that's why we have to keep on. It's like that. That's why you become very precious.
Sister Carrie, I just want to extend on what Brother just now mentioned about, let's say, I see someone being egoistic and so on and so forth. Just like we can say that it's up to us to labor whether the person is a cultivator or not. Because probably you can see, hey, you have been coming to the talks for so long, but you still react like that, That's the reality. Sometimes we will have that kind of judgment, right? But I realized that along the years, if we really learn and then start practicing when we saw this, okay, let's say we see that, that one person become ego. But I realized that I will apply in such that what is the ego is trying to show me when I see from that person is to remind me myself, about being this as well. And along the way, that's where you say the karmic debts will start showing more and more and more. And whether you're accepting the person is being ego, but it's not about the person, but it's what I'm seeing. Right.
Yes, correct. So that means to say, or cultivator. So you see the ego, that person has a lot of ego. To me, I will do a lot of acme on this. I realize, how come this person practice a lot and yet the ego still doesn't reduce? So to me, it's a information. Then I see the practice, then I start to question. Let's say if I see somebody who practiced so long, which I have many friends like that, but the ego don't dwindle, something is very wrong, because they are actually practicing knowledge. They are learning knowledge. They are not assimilating that dharma into them. A lot of time, all people are learning at the ego level. Like we go to school, learn geography, history like that. We know all this, we know, but we don't assimilate. That's why this is the reason of the coming about of 5PAT. Because 5PAT, we only emphasize on application. We give you the skill, then apply. Dharma, okay, you can learn the Dharma, but that is only 10% of the journey. The real journey is all the skill, especially vow and motto is 90% that takes up all my resources. So if you apply and you walk the path, you will really see the person ego coming down. The ego don't come down. That means learning a lot at the ego level, but not really trading the path, When you trade the path, I tell you, you sure cry one. Sure, because you start to see all the dirt coming out and then you suffer. Because there's so much of karmic dirt, we have a lot, but it's really fine. So when all this karmic dirt coming out, we suffer. Then we start to bow down because we saw how our ego manipulate. Because the first this is very important. The first this, the one we walk inward and then like the tearing, we saw actually all the time we are hurting ourselves is the ego, not the people outside, the ego that hurt us. So when you see the terrible side of the ego, you will definitely learn how to let go of it. So that's why the awakening is very important. Sorry, you want to say something?
Even like meditators, I find that sometimes they meditate for so many years. Instead of the ego coming down, the ego become bigger and bigger. What is wrong?
What is wrong? Because I find some people, even in Dharma, in Christianity, in Muslim, the more they learn the knowledge, the higher the ego. Because they learn it as a knowledge. It's like going to university lah. You got professor, I got degree, I got master. My ego should go higher, isn't it? Because knowledge is like that lah. Okay, I tell you, knowledge is materialism. Knowledge is materialism. So is results. School result. All these are materialism. That's why knowledge usually make a person egoistic. Unless you can convert the knowledge into wisdom. You get me not? Some people meditate many years, still very egoistic. A lot of times they are learning the knowledge, not so much the wisdom that assimilate into ourselves. So that's why you have to be a bit careful. That's why the best yardstick, you want to check you look at the ego of the person. Seriously, especially the four emotion. The four emotion, you still have a lot of anger lah, don't like lah, and a lot of worry lah, how people look at me, all these guilt, or maybe sometimes sadness, and a lot of, when they talk, a lot of those intonation, a lot of ego, and that one you can gauge already, not by how many years, how many teachers they know, who they know, all these are actually very exterior lah, very exterior. That's what I know lah. I also have friends, They actually meditated long time, and at the end of the day, the family members came and talked to us and said, how come my brother become worse and worse? The ego and the anger become worse and worse.
Could it be that they are not meditating the right way?
Yeah, because meditation is something very delicate, because you're dealing with the mind. Make sure you have very good teacher, because you're dealing with the mind on a very delicate basis. You must know how to note the mental state. You must know how to handle them. So that's why if anything not correct, you can go out of the way easily, because you're handling something very delicate.
If you meditate wrongly, it's worse than you don't meditate, right now.
Sometimes to the extent, yes, because meditation is something you deal with concentration very extensively or intensively. So concentration is something like that. It multiplies your emotion by 3 times, 5 times. See how good your concentration is. So if your concentration is very good, your anger will blow up 5 or 6 times. Unless your mindfulness is on top of your concentration. Concentration cannot be the general. Concentration is your soldier. But the general that give instruction is mindfulness. So mindfulness has to be on top. Then come concentration and effort. You have to balance this through using mindfulness. But a lot of times people put too much emphasis on concentration. Mindfulness is no longer the main actor. So that's why that one will cause a little bit of complications. Because concentration when blow up, it's not a good thing. But you don't have concentration, also you cannot break through. Okay, so concentration is like a knife, 2 sides. It can either hurt you or help you. So concentration is something very interesting to study. Don't play with, study. I feel you want to meditate, you can, but what is the reason for you to meditate? A lot of time. Meditate for tranquility, for peace, okay lah, fine. If you really want to meditate to break through and see enlightenment, I think for householder not easy lah. Okay? And monastic you have 227 precepts to guard them. For householder we don't have. That's why I always promote Bodhisattvas path for all householders. Because householders, we don't deal with such a delicate mind. Okay? You don't go wrong easily lah, because we don't deal with something very delicate. When you want to do something very delicate, you have to go to a monastery with very good guidance from at least a Sotapanna and above lah. It's just like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you about this sadness thing, because I prepared this. When I said you have this karmic debt that gushing out when you are quietened down, it's the same with your meditation path. The entire meditation journey, you have 1 to 16 stages. 1 to 16. Once you hit 16, you are Sotapanna. Okay? 1 is when we baru lah. You come 4, you are Udayabaya. Udayabaya is 1 stage of a breakthrough. You feel very good one during Udayabaya. You feel, wow, you're so happy, so happy. A lot of 4 Brahma Vihara during. After Udayabaya, you need to enter into 5 and 6. At 5 and 6, you know what you see? Fear. A lot of fear. Worry. You don't know why you have all this mixed feeling. Okay? Come 7 and 8. Depression. You see depression, you see sadness. You feel very bad on all this. It's the same as all the gushing out of your karmic debt lah. And when you reach 9, disenchantment. Jelak, jelak. You can even want to vomit one. But it's not because of your food. It's because you keep seeing impermanence, non-self, all your ego breaking. Suddenly you feel, jelak, very jelak. Then you suddenly realize everything is a scam. This thing. So you feel very disenchantment. So all these 5 to 9 all suffering, friend. Very terrible stage here. Okay? But never give up. Never give up. Because once you hit 10, this is called Sankhara Upeka. At Sankhara Upeka, wow, you already hit another milestone, which is very difficult. A lot of people stuck here. The long time meditators, correct or not? A lot of them stuck here. But once you hit 10, this is Sankhara Upeka, is something very, very beautiful. In fact, most of the Bodhisattvas and the Aryas, when they don't meditate, their mind is at Sankhara Upeka. At Sankhara Upeka, all you need is to continue. They hop over to Sotapanna at 16 by just one thought. You don't go 11, 12, 13, no. 10, 16. Because 11 to 15 are all auto. Pop. Breakthrough. So at 16, you are Sotapanna. So if you ask me a monk to teach us meditation, I think at Udayabaya not enough lah. At least a Sankhara Upeka lah, to guide you how to go through this part. This part, a lot of suffering. It's like our daily life. You're paying some karmic debt. All has to come out and clear off, or else how to become Arya? You get me, not? So it's actually, this one is a very different journey lah. Very different journey. 5, 6, you see a lot of fear, a lot of don't know why, you're very scared, Then after that you become very depressed, and then after that you become very sad, And then that one is mental state, bodily pain. Bodily pain at 8 and 9 are very tremendous one. Both mentally and physically also we suffer a lot. So, but this is the journey of a Arahat path. So, but anyhow, nobody can spare. You still have to suffer. Even you walk the 5 PAT path, which is the Bodhisattva's path, we still have to do some clearing on. Because of our past debt. Too thick of a karmic debt. Sometimes we cannot understand the Dharma. It will block us from our progress. So I think this is something interesting to know. But anyway, for householder, I always invite everybody, you go for the Bodhisattva path, not because of what? Because a lot of times we still have a lot of things in life. We just cannot say, let go means let go. Loved ones how? My money how? My house how? So don't worry, you still have a chance to practice. You're still doing meditation, but in the daily life. In fact, you become very skillful eventually. That's why the Bodhisattva's path is like that. You go to Dunhuang. Dunhuang, when you go for this Silk Road. Inside Dunhuang, there are all these drawings on the wall. Out of 10 Bodhisattvas, 9 of them are householders. Only one monk. The Mahayana monk are actually the monk for Bodhisattva. But 9 out of them are all householders. You remember the 4 emotional traps? You can taste them. You can have loving relationship, but you are just not attached. You can have excitement. You can still have recognition. People say you are very smart, very good. I say, oh, thank you. Like that. You still taste everything the samsaric being tastes, but no attachment, no aversion. You are always in the middle. That's why the Bodhisattva come back here and save the rest. Theravadin Arahat Path are the direct disciple of the Buddha. The path is there because it is a path that created by the Buddha. But for the Bodhisattvas, the Buddha is not the master, It's not the Sifu. The master for the Bodhisattva are sentient beings. Because the Bodhisattva learn from sentient beings. Buddha is their idol. Idol? My idol, because I want to be a Buddha. But I don't learn from him, I have to learn from the sentient beings. That's why they say the Bodhisattva cannot live without sentient being, And the sentient being cannot live without bodhisattva. Yes. A guide, of course you can share lah. You can share. But let's say for example, the Kuan Yin, Siddhigarbha, Manjushri, and Po Yin. Po Yin is Samanta. You know, all the bodhisattvas, they learn the most from the sentient being one. The Buddha are their friends lah, but pass with flying color already lor. Now I need to pass lor, you see. So he is idol of all the bodhisattvas. But bodhisattvas really learn from the sentient being. That's why bodhisattva always come back always want to save the sentient being. Because while saving the sentient being, they are learning. Because remember the Dharma door, innumerable Dharma door that they need to learn. Then only they can become Buddha, no? The bodhisattva's journey is very long. Much longer than the Arhat. Okay? However, you will not feel very long if you are very immersed into the practice, because time and space are not real. You feel very long because you are comparing a Putujana with a Buddha. But when you are walking the path as a bodhisattva, you forgot about time. Because everything is only learning. No time, no space. Okay, everything is only learning. By the time when you reach already, you don't even realize there's time. Because once the bodhisattva reach certain stages, actually no more suffering for them one. Because they know how to handle all this suffering from greed, anger, and delusion. And once they can handle this, to them is to break all the concept of all phenomena, including time and space. Including this is top, this is down, left, right, front, back, all this, they have to break all the concepts of all phenomena. So that's why it takes so long for them. So you see, our phenomena is what? I need to walk on land, isn't it? This is a concept. If you can break this concept that you don't need to walk on land, you can fly. You get me not? So all these are phenomena, breaking concept on the phenomenal level. That won't take a long time for the bodhisattva. Okay, so this one next time when we do the final part of 5 PAT, which is the green disc, the one we'll talk more on this one. The one is Panya wisdom for the bodhisattvas. We conclude today and we just chant a verse of transference of merits. Verse of transference of merits. May the merits I accrue today help me to eliminate my karmic debts. May they support the development of wisdom, which reveals the ultimate truth that all phenomena are mind-made. May the merits also ripen conditions that will distance me from those inverted views of samsara made real by the ego, so as to awaken the deluded mind from this dreamlike world of delusion. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.